welcome to another Purveyor of Light Photoshop quick tip. Today we've got a real easy one to do. This was requested many times, surprisingly, that they wanted to learn how to put a realistic tattoo on a body, whether it be an arm or a leg. They wanted it to look realistic and so forth. So I said, okay, that'd be a quick, easy tutorial. Why not? So I went ahead and selected this photo here of this young lady, and I thought that would be a perfect canvas for us to use to put tattoos on. And I thought, okay, her leg here would be perfect for that. And I also went online and I selected a tattoo that I thought would go well with the young lady. And so I have that on a white background. And so one of the first things I need to do is I need to separate the black ink or the tattoo part from the background. So I need a transparent background in order for this to work. So luckily it's easy to do. Okay, you're going to come up on your selection tools, okay, and you're going to select the magic wand, okay, and up here on top make sure contiguous is not checked, okay, because all the parts are not contiguous, not together, not joined. So we need to uncheck that so we can do a selection. So we'll come in here and we're just going to go ahead and use the magic wand and click. And there we are. We have selected the entire tattoo area. And so now we're going to copy it. And now we're just going to go ahead and paste it. And now you can see we have a second layer. After the paste, I'm going to turn off the bottom layer, and now you can see the top layer is a perfect selection with a transparent background. Okay, so that's our first step, and so we've got the tattoo ready to go on, but we look at the leg here, and she's got incredibly smooth skin, and so this is going to be a really easy blend. But when you're doing this with anyone else, whether it's a man with more definition or, you know, a lady with more muscular lines in her legs, you always want to do the same technique, and that is a displacement map. And a displacement map is nothing more than contouring, trying to follow the contour of her body, okay, so that the tattoo looks more realistic. So in order to do that, we need to come up and save a copy of this as a PSD, okay, and we're going to use that as a displacement map. So what I like to do is I like to make this thing become a black and white photo. I just find that works better for doing displacement maps. It may be just me, but I find that black and white makes it work better. Okay, so I'm going to flatten the image, okay, and now I'm going to save the image, and I'm going to save it as, and I'm going to save it as a just a DM, okay, and that stands for displacement map. And remember, it's got to be a PSD, okay. It's got to be. Can't be any other format for it to work. Okay, so I've got a DM. I got it in my downloads folder. So we'll put it in there, and now that's saved. All right. So now we can close up the displacement map we made, and let's go ahead and reopen the image we had originally, and we'll just drop it right into Photoshop. And there we are. So we have the girl, and we have our tattoo separated, and we have the displacement map created. So our next step is actually to drag the tattoo in, and we'll do that by selecting that and being on the layer that's separated with a transparent background. And we are going to move it right into the photo here. Okay, And so as you can see, now we have to do some, moving around and shaping and making things look realistic. So one of the first things I'm going to do is call Command T, which is free transform. And then I'm just going to, artistically position this tattoo how I think it looks good on the leg. And again, you can do this, it's all taste. I'm going to hold the shift key down so I can distort it. And you notice that I'm deliberately running the tattoo a little bit right over to the shorts he's wearing, and I think we're doing pretty good here. Maybe move this up a little. Okay, I think that's a pretty good start. So I've got it fitting there, and why I want the overlap on the shorts will become clear in a minute. Okay, so now we've got a perfectly flat stenciled tattoo, and you can tell it looks incredibly fake. So now we need to make it look realistic. And to do that, we're going to use our distortion map, and we're going to do some other techniques to make things blend in a little bit better. So the first thing I want to do is, you notice how sharp this is? It's just unrealistically sharp. So the first thing I want to do is I want to blur the tattoo, okay, to make it more believable. Because when a tattoo is really done, it's ink being absorbed into the skin, and that's never going to be this sharp. So I want to blur it a little bit. So I'm going to do a blur, Gaussian blur, and how much is going to be depending on your eyes, how you like it. Okay, but I want it to look more realistic, right? So that's a little too sharp there. And I'm thinking that's pretty good right there. 3.7 on this particular image. And I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. So now we blurred it, okay? And that makes it, blend in with the skin just ever so slightly. And the next thing I need to do is I need to distort this so that it fits to the skin, the contour of her leg. So I'm going to go up to Filter and Distort, and then Displace. And you'll get this little dialog box. And I find the defaults always just seem to work well. Horizontal scale of 10, vertical of 10, stretch to fit, and repeat pixels. And I think they work fine just about every image I've ever used. So I'll hit OK. And now it's prompting me, asking me where is that displacement map, because it needs to use that to contour it. And right here I have my displacement map, the DM, and I'm going to hit OK. And it'll churn, and you'll notice how it just shifted the tattoo a little bit here. Again, she's very smooth skin, so there wasn't very much work to be done. But we have that, and we're still not looking very realistic enough yet. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to change the blend mode. All right, so instead of come up to normal, I'm going to come in and again look at what looks best. And soft light overlay. I want to say soft light. Okay. Now you notice it's faded a little bit, but that's okay. We can build it back up. But it makes it very realistic. And we can do any last minute adjustments we want. So I'm going to do just a little more free transform. I like that. Okay, and that's looking pretty good. It's taken the shape of the leg, and now the next thing I need to do here is I need to duplicate the layer. Okay, so with that layer selected, I'm going to hit Command or Control J, and now I have two layers. You notice how it got darker. Okay, and again without the second layer and the third one. Now I feel this is a little too dark. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the opacity down until we reach a level that I'm happy with to make it look as realistic as I wish. Okay, and I'm gonna thinking that's looking pretty good there. And now, like I said, this is also part of making things believable, right? I deliberately made the tattoo so that it was overlapping the shorts that she's wearing. And I did that because I want to make it look like the tattoo is underneath her shorts, so it gives the realism. Okay, so I'm going to make a layer mask here. Then I'm painting in black with a paintbrush. I'm going to very carefully, and I'm going to select a very hard brush. And I'm going to paint I'm going to turn this one off so I can see what I'm doing. Alright. And I'm just painting in black so that it looks realistic on the shorts. And now I'm going to copy this layer mask that I painted here and put it on the layer below it. So I'm going to copy the layer mask. Actually, I'm going to hold the Alt key and drag it down, and that's going to make a duplicate of it. And a little touch up there. Missed an area up here. Make sure I'm on the second one too. And there we are. Gives a little sense of that realism with the tattoo going under the shorts. Adds to the realism. Fools the brain, as it were. And again, I do last minute checks, how I like the tattoo. I could even change the color of the tattoo if I wish. Or I can just play last minute changes on the opacity of it. I can go full opacity, and that's pretty dark. I could drop it down. That looking pretty good. I think that's looking pretty good. So there we go. And this technique will work on just about anybody, man or woman. And like I said, it's a relatively easy technique. Fun to play around with. Especially if you're planning for a tattoo and you want to know how it'll look before you actually do it. This is a nice technique for that too. So that'll do it for this week. You guys take care, and I'll see you next week.